Good afternoon to all. A happy new year, and we hope you had a Merry Christmas as we bring you your continuing Philippines Football League 2024-2025 season as we come to you from the University of the Philippines, Diliman Football Field. And we do have the youth national team of the Philippines squaring off with Kaya FC-Iloilo, who are the league leaders and defending champions. But a different story, we could say, for the youth national team, of course, who are looking to keep our youngsters in the pool sharp, as we know, for international age group competitions. A big thank you for joining us on the likes of Matchday.ph for this broadcast, of course. And let's take a look at our league table to give you a picture on the importance of these games right here. Kaya FC Iloilo leads the way with 16 points and continue to be unbeaten so far. But when we look over at the youth national team, they are at 7 points and are in that log jam, and they will need to get clearance from the lower end of the table, of course, if they want to get to safety. But they are competing as a guest team again and actually have some new faces. And as we see, the youth national team and Kaya have matches on hand, and after this match, all teams will be level at 7 games played apiece. And there's the picture so far. Kaya undefeated in this season, and that has been somewhat synonymous with this historic club because we did the math actually, and Kaya is unbeaten in 39 games, and that streak spells or goes all the way back to 2023. The last time they lost was in February 19 to Dynamic Herb Cebu in the 2022-2023 season. But just to give you, of course, and show you how things have been going so far, Kaya with a commanding goal difference are looking sharp here in local play. But let's eventually carry on here, of course, as we are closing in on kickoff bit by bit. We'll eventually get through the team standings, and it is a 4-2-3-1 here for the youth national team. John Lloyd Halike, as expected, will be up front. It is the usual faces right here, but if we could compare things to the last calendar year, two big changes or the two changes. There's Diego Aspiras, who transferred over from Manila Digger FC, who was playing in central midfield. And there is Michael Lantilo Jr. because Nathan Bata is back now with his mother club, Kaya FC Iloilo. So Nathan Bata's loan is over already with the youth national team, but will eventually head over to Kaya FC Iloilo because, in fact, we see in the team sheet that Nathan Bata is starting now, but Bata is with his mother club, and Kaya is actually bringing out the bench, we could say here. But when we look at the personnel of Kaya, all of these players, you could argue, could start in any other PFL team. But there's Lucas Del Rosario up front. Mark Swainston will be that central midfield in that 4-3-3 formation, and it will be important for him to carry the game. He scored actually in Kaya's last game, which was in the Shopee Cup. And then there's Marco Casambre, Simone Rota, Mardiano, and Bandiogo will be playing at left back. When we refer to Konate Bandiogo, one of their foreign players, normally a midfielder. But let's see, of course, if this listed formation will be how the teams will actually line up in this game right here. And we have these two teams competing again. We just wanted to add, of course, to the starting 11 that it is Joshua Merino who is the captain of this youth national team squad, and he did rack up experience in the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup. Although he was not used, he got to spend a great amount of time with his kuyas who are in the Philippine men's national football team. And with that experience, with those high-level training sessions over the course of the season, he sure is sharp. And it will be a test here versus Kaya, the defending champions. It's 39 unbeaten games again for Kaya FC Iloilo. And if they do at least get a draw, it will head over, or it will extend to 40 games unbeaten. When we say unbeaten, of course, that is getting a win or a draw. When you see a team, of course, manages to pick up wins after wins, that is, to be precise, 100% record. Not the case right here, but it's been quality from Kaya FC Iloilo in the Philippines Football League, and they have been representing the PFL in the likes of the AFC Champions League 2, and there is the ASEAN Club Championship, the Shopee Cup. It's all to play for right here again. It is your Philippines Football League 2024-2025 season, and this is actually the inaugural game of the PFL right here at UP Diliman. This just adds, of course, to the long list of different venues that we have been able to visit, of course, as teams are right now lining up at the track oval, and we are closing in at the pre-match ceremonies. Claro Manzano here, your commentator for this match, as the crowd continues to come in. And there you go. It's the PFL anthem, as we will start off festivities, not just for the afternoon. Well, we will officially start the 2025 calendar for local football right here in the Philippines.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let us welcome the teams of Youth National Team and Kaya FC-Iloilo.
And here we go. It is on to our toss coin right here. Check na natin ang match officials dito sa ating laro ngayon. Si Mick John Pineda ay ang referee. Ang kanyang mga assistants ay sila Chris Mark Nanyola and Segundo Saloria III. Si Raymart De Los Santos ay ang fourth official. Si Ravelo Saloria ay ang referee assessor. At si Ms. Ira Ilan ay ang ating match commissioner. Our referees in sky blue and just heading or with their final huddle. Both teams getting locked in as expected. Simone Rota, their captain here. Definitely one of the most experienced players with the youth. But when we go to the youth national team, as we've said, these players represent the country, of course, and are playing in the PFL to stay sharp. But when we look at Kaya FC-Iloilo, a great number of their Filipino players have caps actually with the national team and know what it's like, of course, to play on the international stage. That's with the national team aspect, and as we said earlier, my AFC Champions League 2 din and Shopee Cup. But that is actually where Kaya played their last game in the Shopee Cup. It was at home at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, falling 2-1 to Kong An Hanoi. It was Mark Swainston who scored the lone goal. It proved to be a consolation because Kong An Hanoi banked on Vietnam national team players, of course, to just slow down the Filipino club. Nathan Pato is starting in goal after returning again to Kaya FC and spent the first half of the season over with this team here, the national team, the youngsters. It's not a completely new look squad after the new year because that core is absolutely intact. It is the transfer window again. That is why players are able to make moves here and there. As we've said, Diego Aspiras is one of the newcomers into this squad Michael Antilo Jr. also has been with them and will get the nod now. Plenty of these boys, of course, have come from the Toloy program. And this national team actually is playing in a 4-2-3-1. They utilized the 4-3-3 last time around. But let's go over to the last game of the team in gray, the youngsters. That was last November 30, where they actually defeated Davao Aguilas UMAC 3-1, an upset. As this match was kicked off, the youth national team in gray, black, and white. As this ball eventually went into the box of Nathan Bata. And Kaya FC in black and yellow. Kaya playing from left to right. National team playing from right to left. And respectfully, as we've said, Kaya opted to bring up the bench. Plenty of big names or usual starters are on the bench for this squad of Coach Yu Hoshide. And they're the likes of Walid Peru, whom one can argue, of course, has become the team's main goalkeeper because Patrick Dato, unfortunately, was injured in the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup. And as we saw, Dato was tackled hard. And you can even say it was harder than a tackle. And Dato was tackled hard from behind and suffered a horrible knee injury. So we wish him all the best, of course, a speedy recovery to Dato, who is listed, of course, as not playing due to injury. As it's with Lucas de Rosario. Tiano, Melisa, seemed a little loose right there. Over to the left now, Cyril South or Pato. That left wing position is his in this team. And Diano knocked it back, of course. And he's now brewing with experience. Bata, Melisa, got it to Diano. Under some pressure. Chan Melisa switching it. Over to Bandiogu. He couldn't get it to Komaki or Del Rosario though. Was to his left and right. Probing runs now, Antilo Jr. As is the case for players from Toloy. They are technically sound and are confident with their feet. Got it out of danger there. They will yield possession. Melisa will resume. So if we look at the table, Kaya is ranked number 1, while the national team is at number 8. It is a 10-team field again competing right here in this edition of the Philippines Football League. And there was Eric Esso, who was decked. Our referees took no interest there. We are aware, of course, that with that Spanish coaching staff, with the Philippine youth national teams as a whole, that system is also employed, or that possession-oriented system is employed. But the question is, how will the national team be able to do that against a well-drilled, well-oiled team like Kaya FC? We will get answers, of course, this afternoon. As this ball was eventually intercepted by Antilo Jr. He'll get it to Merino. Assessing options, his partner at center back is Haren De Gracia. De Gracia, natural fullback, but is also capable of playing in that center defender position. And that's where Esso opts to come up with a bit of a press. De Gracia had to play it long. We can confirm there that Bandiogu is indeed playing left back. And wins it there, of course, and uses his physique. So throw in to resume play. Going back with the standings and what we were mentioning, Kaya is ranked number 1 with 5 wins, 1 draw, and 0 losses. In spite of Kaya having a match in hand, They dictate tempo so far and top the league table. The national team, on the other hand, holds 2 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses so far in this tournament. Yes, this may be the first PFL game this 2025, but again, there was that break over the holiday or Christmas season. With that holiday break, actually, that is when the Philippine men's national football team competed in the Mitsubishi Electric Cup. The Philippines, of course, finished as semi-finalists. Well, when you look at the rankings, actually, the Philippines technically comes out as the 3rd best team, edging the other losing semi-finalist, Singapore, when you compare the numbers. Well, here's Esso getting it to Lucas Del Rosario. Tried to shift lane, but there was Mourinho to come up with a stop. He wanted to prevent the corner kick. Not enough there. He'll take the stop, but they have to deal with the corner. Corner's as close as it gets, as they say. Well, of course, there are penalty kicks too. Well, these are opportunities where you could get the entire team involved and you could rehearse this or practice these situations or scenarios in training. As Komaki whipped it in. The clearance. Mandiogo couldn't secure, but knocked it back to Nathan Bata. And this is not Bata's first outing with the team, as he's picked up a number of experiences or picked up a number of appearances in the previous seasons with the team. One of those outings, of course, of Nathan Bata with Kaya was when Kaya FC-Iloilo thrashed Manila Monte in the 2024 edition of this competition. Swainson gave it back. Casambre. Kay Simone Rota naman. Rota. The armband again. Getting it to Diano. Well, Diano cross. Yamazaki. Oh, the flag is up right here though from our linesman Chris Mark Nanyola. Offside, he says. Kaya's attackers getting behind the back line too much. Only 7 minutes so far into this game. Antilo Jr. had to hit the emergency button. De Gracia. Yes, you see there are scenarios where they are under pressure, but they're able to get the ball or release. But it's continuing. Pressure ends up going. And the national team ends up committing an error. Casambre. Mandiogo. And Kaya trained as this was punched out by Antilo. Kaya trained over the course of the holiday season. No break for them. They wanted to stay fit coming out of the holiday season. Mourinho, the clearance to the side. Who's last touch here? And it's Kaya. Who's last touch? According to our linesman, that's why it is Rocky Grizola to give a throw in. And as we've said, this is the inaugural PFL game to take place right here at the UP Diliman Football Stadium in Quezon City. And this is the usual battleground for UAAP football, whether it be the men's, women's, or boys division. Let's go through also some of the roster changes. We did mention earlier the changes of the youth national team. Aspires is one of the transferees or newcomers, we could say, as Komaki. Cross was cleared. San Lloyd Halike. Kaishu Yamazaki will continue to facilitate. On the team sheet of the national team, there's also Ryan Lim, someone who's gone up through the grassroots competitions. This long ball was eventually secured by the keeper. Pero lipat naman tayo rito sa Kaya FC-Iloilo. As we've said a number of times already in this game, Nathan Bata is back with his mother club. He was on loan with this very team that Kaya FC is facing. Kevin Wentz was on loan with Rivals 1 Taguig actually, and is back here with Kaya. And Pocholo Bugas was been playing in Cambodia. Is on loan this time around with Kaya FC, and it's a big boost to the squad, of course, in their bid to defend the title. And Kaya gunning for the three-peat after Kaya won the 22 and 23 season. That's just one season. They swept the 2024 PFL. Will it be the lucky three-peat here? We'll find out, of course. We are a little below the halfway mark of the season, actually, as this took a bounce. Alright, it was a dangerous touch. That's why this shot sailed over eventually for Siron Saud. There's the Saud brothers who feature again here for the youth national team. Siron Saud is Kuya Saud, as we'd also like to call him. And this was awkwardly handled by Kaya. And the national team tried to make them pay. That's the most dangerous chance so far in this game. And Shuto Komaki says, I want to join too. But it is loose handles. Eso managed to keep it in. Great hustle from him. And Diano, well, they carry on that patient play and trying to break this crew down. Mardiano comes in, cutting it back. Antilo Jr. with the stop. And what a response. Here you see it, of course. Kai working in transition, trying to come up and score with the counter. Antilo the stop, a little bit of that butterfingers. Thankfully, he did enough to at least direct it off target. Credit to Etso for the hustle. Merino, kay De Gracia naman. Antilo Jr. had to release. They're able to keep it. The national team flirting with danger here. But by making them play uncomfortable, that is where they will learn. And it is one here, Melisa. Shuto, loose touch, Del Rosario. Lucas couldn't get it to Komaki because it was poked away by Aspiras. John Lloyd Halike taking the fall. Diego Aspiras asked for options. He had that short but memorable stint with Manila Digger. I do recall actually, or do note that it is a Southeast Asian Games year, so it is highly likely that players who are competing here will be part of that squad to represent the Philippines in the regional competition. Swainston. Again, for men, it is the competition is for players aged 22 and under. And speaking of Mark Swinston, he once played, of course, for the U22-23 national team of the Philippines. Naughty Nunez is one of them also. It's over on the other side. They couldn't play Capistrano though. Bata. South couldn't get it, but Merino knocked it. And Nakayamazaki. Shuto Komaki, the Japanese connection. Lucas Del Rosario well onside. Flicked it back here. Flag is up though from the linesman. And there you go. It's another offside here against Kaya FC-Iloilo. Here's Del Rosario shifting lanes, flicking it back. Great chemistry. But yep, the flag was up. "14 minutes in already in this game. As we've said, Kaya FC stayed sharp and fit over the holiday season. And the youth national team did get a week of preparation all together. But the Toloy FC boys of this national team, of course, given their setup in Alabang Muntinlupa, without a doubt, were able to get in the reps, the practice over the Christmas and New Year break. Casambre. Bandiogu. Nagmamadali ngayon. Shuto dummied it. Del Rosario shot here sails over for him. Both teams have been able to launch some dangerous shots so far in this game, as we are a quarter of an hour in already. Here is the last play. Shuto Komaki and Lucas Del Rosario combining again and are looking dangerous in this game so far, as we are going to head over to our cooling break in this game. Our referees and players, of course, will take this moment to rehydrate. And this becomes a de facto timeout to make some adjustments in terms of tactics. We see Coach Yoshide and staff. And here's Coach Sergei Mascarel, of course, and his crew. Coach Taketomo Suzuki there also. The staff here, the youth national team, consisting of Spanish coaches mainly. And there is also Coach Taki, who is from Japan. And he did handle the Tuloy FC squad in the 2023 Copa Paulino Alcantara. Let's see how both teams will be able to fare after this cooling break. The mood here looking good. These boys locked in. It's still goalless, of course. Who will be able to draw first blood? We'll let the players do the talking and the answering right here. John Lloyd Halig and Diego Aspiras just having a word there, fine-tuning things for themselves so far. You're catching this game on matchday.ph again. And a big thank you for joining us. And it is still 130 pesos a month to watch the live matches right here. There's the Philippines Football League, AFC Champions League Elite, and so much more. The Champions League Elite features a number of Filipino players who are playing overseas. So when our national team players are actually with the respective clubs, those are just some of the competitions that they are competing in. As we take a look at possession, 63 to 37, with the spell of possession or spells of possession for the national team, we're mainly at the back trying to unlock this Kaya FC-Iloilo crew. And as expected, Kaya with that physical advantage. These are full-grown men playing with or playing against players who are mainly about 20 years old or so. So Merino found this opportunity to get it to silence out, or Pato as he is called. Jan Meliza got to create space. A bit of that grabbing from Kuya Saut. But Esso was trying to go for it. But play will continue here from the midfield because there was a foul, according to Mick John Pineda. We saw it because of the grabbing. It actually took place in front of the fourth official and our broadcast panel too, actually. Casambre as they resume play in the middle. Bandiogo had some time with the ball. Getting it. Whipping in the cross. Meliza! It's well over here this time around. Kaya coming up with that opportunity. Coming out of or heading out of the cooling break. It's a 4-2-3-1 for this national team. We've gotten accustomed to them playing that 4-3-3. But this formation, the 4-2-3-1, also favors possession. We've seen some variations from Kaya, of course, with Coach Yoshide, who's from Japan. Kaya this afternoon playing the 4-3-3. At times we'd see the 4-1-4-1. As it'll be a free kick from the left here. And given there's Coach Yu Hoshide for Kaya, and he hails from Japan. Coach Taketomo Suzuki, a friend of his, an assistant for the youth national team, and of Coach Sergi Mascarel. But a chance on the left, as we see. There's the two-man wall to beat. Shuto Komaki is gonna send it in. It's with his right. De Gracia got to it. Melisa will collect. How will both teams organize? Overplayed though. Shuto Komaki saw this overplayed from the get-go. Grizola. Yamazaki. Rocky Grizola using his shiftiness there. Diego Aspiras returned it. They'll be playing, or they'll look to play from the back. Mourinho. De Gracia over to the other side. They're playing through Mourinho as expected. They've solidified that flow, of course, of the other games. But it's overplayed, but Coach Sergi Mascarel just cheering on his boys, keeping them motivated. The intention was right there. Diano throwing it down the line. But it came off of Lucas Del Rosario. And Lucas Del Rosario, as we've seen, would often come off the bench for Kaya. And give them that boost up front. Some ping-ponging around. Rota wins this with his height. That goes the way of the national team. Diano getting it to Eric Esso. Eric Esso, as we've seen in the previous season, that operator for them in the midfield. Esso was floored. Advantage, but it's with Lucas Del Rosario waiting for support. Yamazaki. A clever ball. Diano got bodied up though. When we say getting bodied up, it's by Cyril South, who was much smaller but had the momentum. We do know, of course, these boys will never back down from a challenge, but play will be stopped, as we saw earlier, because Eric Esso was floored. But there was advantage for Kaya FC-Iloilo in that situation. There's Joshua Mourinho, of course, just checking on Eric Esso also in that scenario. And he is shaken up. And here was that play. We're not sure actually if Eric Esso got clipped in that scenario, or if he just took an awkward fall. Well, there was Josh Mourinho trying to come up with a tackle. Play stopped. Some ice cubes just getting onto the on the turf right here. But fair play there, as they will be returning possession. And we are aware, of course, that Filipinos know how fair play is executed in games, despite of it being an unwritten rule. We did see a goal. We did see Thailand score a goal, actually, rather than return the ball to Vietnam in the finals of the Mitsubishi Electric Cup. That was a controversial goal for sure. But the script will continue. Rocky Grizola being a little ambitious, trying to round Jan Melisa. Melisa, of course, a veteran, will not allow that to happen. That's why it's with Bata at the back. And Kaya will reset. Shuto Komaki opted to knock it back. And there was actually a question raised in the Shopee Cup pre-match press conference before Kaya's game versus Kong An Hanoi. A question raised, of course, was how will this crew fare, because there is no more Daiso Horikoshi, one of the main men in the attack of Kaya FC-Iloilo. And of course, in a jokingly way, and Coach Yoshida did say that he does not miss Daiso, but that's because they have a team full of capable players who could step up here and there. Coach Yoshida meant it in that way, of course. Definitely not in the personal way as Daiso Horikoshi. He's a quality player and has moved to the J-League ranks in the third tier, as we've seen online. Park Ye-young also departing Kaya FC. The former 2 Bundesliga player is now playing in Cambodia. Yamazaki, Swainston, Del Rosario, Pandiogu. They ran out of space right here though. But this pitch right here, of course, for the benefit of those who have seen the UP Diliman pitch for the first time, this is artificial, not natural grass. With the boom of Philippine football last decade, we did see a number of artificial turfs get constructed over the years. Filipino players have gotten accustomed to playing on this surface. And teams, or Filipino teams, Filipino clubs, or national teams would compete at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. We'll take advantage of that familiarity with artificial turf. And in other countries, we'd see teams, of course, play on natural grass. Bandiagu got it to shoot to Komaki. It's been Komaki trying to dictate from the wing as of late. Yamazaki returned it. Komaki to Diano. Diano, that fullback, joining in the midfield as expected. Let's see how the former Yugi Red Warrior will do. Giving it to Melisa, a former FEU player himself, as is the case for a great number of people with the Kaya FC crew. Swainston. They try to thread the needle. Yamazaki. But it was stopped by the defense. Here comes Harin De Gracia. De Gracia kay Noti Nunez. Nunez versus Lucas Del Rosario. Karaig. And these boys slow it down as expected. Mourinho telling Grizola to head over to the touchline. Try to spread out this defense. And they play Grizola. Here comes the support. Cyril Saud. And Nathan Bata gets this one. And Kaya fans applauding that effort from Bata to deny the attack here. Promising from Cyril Saud and Rocky Grizola. We are near the half-hour mark already of this game. Still goalless. And both teams have been putting the ball on the ground. Trying to play out from the back. There's the press. There, it was triggered by Yamazaki. And they play it over to the right. Capistrano versus Bandiogu. Miscommunication, and they give up a corner kick. This could be a prime opportunity for the much shorter youth national team. Well, here was that previous spell. Rocky Grizola got to connect. And gave it over to Cyril Saud, taking it at the edge of the box. Nathan Pato reading it though. But back to the live action. It will be a corner kick here. The national team taking it short as expected. given that Kaya holds the height advantage, a clear and distinct advantage. Del Rosario on the winning end of that one. He managed to win it, of course, there after putting some pressure. Coach Sergi Mascarel unhappy about some non-calls, saying there was an elbow. That's what he's saying, of course. Just doing some lip reading also, and reading his language, or reading his body language to be precise. Well, here's a replay, of course, to show us one of the chances of Kaya FC. And Melisa took it, but skied this ball. Well, here was this find to a charging Rocky Grizola from left back. Taking on Mardiano, eventually setting up Cyril Saut. Right-footed, but it was saved by Nathan Bata. Bata, as we know, familiar with these boys again because he was just on loan with the national team. But 30 minutes, almost 31 minutes actually done and dusted in this game so far at the UP Diliman Football Stadium. Claro Manzano, your commentator for this match. And a big thank you for joining us on matchday.ph. Continue to enjoy 35% off. Instead of paying 200 per month, it is now only 130 pesos. And this is where you could watch the live matches of not just the Philippines Football League, but also the AFC Champions League Elite, and so much more. And that is your go-to, of course, for your Philippine football content. And a shout out, of course, to people and our friends who were catching the action on matchday.ph. Good afternoon to Ma'am Jihan. That's the second cooling break of the match done and dusted. As we will carry on, and it will eventually be the halftime break. Of course, we still have additional time or injury time to conclude the first 45. You cannot say, though, it's been Kaya dominating the game because the national team has looked dangerous. There are times, though, where they do look shaky as a result of Kaya's experience and, you could say, physical superiority. As this one from Karaig eventually becomes a goal kick. Karaig was trying to clear it, but it came off a Kaya man. And it's Antilo Jr. to continue things. Antilo Jr. quite undersized for this position, but he's shown us, of course, that he's got the reflexes, he's got the hops, he's got the athleticism, and he can prove himself in a game like this, squaring up against the defending champions. But there was a foul committed. That's why it will continue the way of the national team, who are wearing gray, black, and white. FC-Iloilo in black and yellow. And yes, Kaya FC did play 2 games in the international level before resuming PFL this 2025. Other than that 2-1 Shopee Cup loss at home at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. They fell 3-1 versus Sydney FC. That was away. That is where they concluded their 2024 calendar year. But it's won here by the defending champs. Swainston to Esso. Tiano couldn't get it, but here's Melisa, of course. Cutting inside, found some space. Switching it up, Shuto Komaki gets to secure it. Yamazaki. Swainston. Diano. Couldn't get it to Melisa. Naughty Nunez was there. And here's Simone Rota. Unsuccessful, though. How will they capitalize? But Jan Melisa was there once more. So we did mention Kaya's last games. They were at the international level, but in Philippines Football League play, it was last December 1 where Kaya FC defeated one Taguig. It was 1-0. It was a wonder goal from Jan Meliza off a free kick. Lone goal in a closely fought game that gave us or featured absolute quality. It was Patrick Data who picked up a clean sheet there. Kaya's first clean sheet of the season, surprisingly. They've been able to stay unbeaten so far in this season over the course of 6 games. Just one clean sheet. They've been able to bag wins despite conceding some goals. It's also become a blessing that Kaya has the deep rotation of goalkeepers, because the loss of Patrick Dato due to injury is massive. But there's Nathan Bata who's playing this afternoon, and there's Walid Beru. He is on the bench. Beru was Kaya's main goalkeeper actually in the previous PFL season. Swainston. Casambre. And they're being patient as expected. How will this pay off for them? Because yes, the national team prefers to dictate play and build up from the back, but these boys can unleash themselves on the counter. Now Yamazaki getting it to Esso. Meliza takes it, denied. But there was that glimmer of hope with Kaya possibly pouncing on the rebound. But Antilo Jr. eventually secured. Well, here's Eric Esso getting it to Meliza. Saved. There was Del Rosario and Shuto Komaki, who were trying to just lurk in hopes of getting a rebound. And eventually it was properly secured by Antilo Jr. The clouds receding a bit, that's why we see a bit of that sunshine out on the pitch. It seems that Nathan Bat and Kaya are playing against the sun. Resumed at the back by Merino. Aspiras returning it to Naughty Nunez. It's Naughty Nunez who is actually that playmaker in the 4-2-3-1, the attacking midfielder. And here he is trying to help out at the midfield. That central, one of their center mids is dropping back alongside the center backs of the Gracia. Just got it to Aspiras. Naughty had to desperately knock that one forward. And Nunez got into a collision with Eric Esso. And here was that look. Nunez in a tough spot and he had to just clear that one desperately. He had to put his body on the line there. Seems it's contact with the shin, but still slow to get up. Naughty Nunez, a tough cookie, as we know. And let's look at this spell earlier that saw South duel with Simone Rota. And there was Meliza, of course, to patch things together for Kaya. Speaking of Jan Meliza, here's another replay of his shot that was denied by Antilo Jr. This PFF youth national team actually with an average age of 19.5 years. And it is a SEA Games year again, the Southeast Asian Games. In the men's division, there's actually the U22 rule, of course. And we will clarify also if overage players will be allowed in that edition of the SEA Games, which will be later this year. But in the number of editions, of course, starting in 2019, we'd see 2 players, or teams would be permitted to play 2 overage players to add to the U22 members. Play stopped again because there is Naughty Nunez was shaken up after getting into that collision with Eric Esso. Just trying to duel for the ball. Mark Swinston and Mardiano just having a chat, making adjustments on the fly. Less than 6 minutes remaining until additional time in the first 45 minutes of this Philippines Football League game. A win for Kaya will allow them to get separation on top in the table. Kaya currently with 16 points. A win will make it 19 points. A win will add 3 to your tally. Silel South would like to change that, of course, because the youth national team sit with 7 points right now. There's a triple tie, actually. There's a triple tie for 6th place. So a win can actually elevate them here. Play will resume. The youngsters are down to 10 players temporarily. But to be precise, the national team is ranked number 8 so far in this competition. A win or draw for them actually would be massive, as they'd be able to elevate above Davao and Loyola, who hold 7 points also. It's just goal difference separating them. Davao at -1, Loyola at -7, the national team at -7 also. But it is goal score that is, or it is goal score that has allowed Loyola to just take that spot above the national team. As we speak, of course, we see there's this developing corner kick. And Shuto Komaki. And these Kaya, if you are Kaya, of course, you want to get that goal. The longer it stays goalless, it will favor the crew of Michael Antilo Jr. as he picked that up at the bottom corner. They have to play it long. Flag stays down. Cyril Saut. Here comes John Lloyd Halike to support. Gives it to Rocky Grizola. Sends it in with his left. Close one here. Shuto Komaki gets back to collect. As Bandiogo will get things going. Yamazaki. Bigla nakuha lang ni Shuto Komaki, sinalo niya. A rare instance that the Japanese dynamic duo was not exactly in the same wavelength. Simone Rota asking for options. Marco Casambre. Less than 3 minutes remaining until additional time. Shuto Komaki. It came off a defender. Naughty Nunez hit it to the side. It's still with Kaya though. Bodies in the box. Lucas Del Rosario. But here was the header from Esso. Esso was saying it crossed the line. Antilo Jr. picked it up. It does not have to hit the net to count as a goal. It has to cross the line completely. It is awful Del Rosario. Sorry, Esso now with the header. It's just too fast. Esso tried to poke it in. Here was Antilo Jr. My apologies there, just getting a little bit overexcited. But here's a save again from the keeper. Michael Antilo Jr. getting a massive test right here. And no surprise, it's Del Rosario and Komaki getting busy on the offensive end. Grizola. John Lloyd Halike got to chest it. Flag was up though. The linesman on the other side, of course, saying it was offside. And John Lloyd Halike is someone who will not back down from a challenge. He's gone up the youth national ranks, hence it's a no-brainer to include him here in this youth national team squad. His recent national team stint was with the U22s. Shuto. Kaisho Yamazaki. Launching it from distance. Off the woodwork right here. That one just catching everyone's attention at the UP Diliman Stadium. And it's been a barrage as of late here from Kaya. The youngsters just managing to hold on. But for how long?
4 minutes.
They'll at least have to weather this storm for 4 minutes, regroup at the locker room with Coach Sergi and staff, and then go again in the 45. And here's the chance again that they got to create. Yamazaki had some space, took it, rattled the crossbar. Aspiras winning it. Definitely some gamesmanship there and using the most out of that push. That will be Mourinho to continue. The national team have opted to play long and perhaps utilize their speed here as of late. But this one will go back the way of Kaya. A minute done and dusted already in injury time. Who will be able to get the advantage heading into the locker room? Diano having to play it back. Nathan Bata. Speaking of clean sheets, Bata has one when he picked it up with the national team while on loan. The lone Kaya clean sheet was when Patrick Date was playing in goal, and that was the last game in the PFL for the year in 2024. Bata would like to get another clean sheet this time around with his mother club. A majority of free kicks from a dangerous area have gone the way here of the defending champions. It will be Jan Melisa from the right. And do recall when we had the situation like this, Jan Melisa free kick from the right. He scored last time versus one Taguig. Lucas Del Rosario will collect. This one is definitely out already. That's why our referee signaled for a goal kick. But the frustration may be mounting already for Kaya with the way they've been able to come up with attacks here and there. And like a broken record, Coach Sergi Mascarella was saying over the course of the season, developing is key here. Results will be secondary. But nonetheless, if they can pick up a result, it will be massive for this young crew. Morota could not get this ball from Bandiogo. Saot will try to pounce. Takes it. Blocked though by Swainston. Nunez. Aspiras gave it back. Naughty. Diego Aspiras getting it back to Joshua Merino. There was some momentum in that spell. But it may be lost here. Eso winning it. Melisa. There's Lucas Del Rosario also. Shuto trailing, taking it, but it's denied again right here. You could feel that frustration from the Kaya supporters. Another chance, and they get denied. Eric Eso not afraid to put his body on the line. Well, with that, of course, there was Melisa, and there was a trailing Shuto Komaki. Just took some time, of course, that allowed the defense to somewhat recover. Montilo Jr. was there again. He's been racking up the saves this afternoon. We saw Eso get shaken up in that play, but he is okay to continue. That's why there was a drop ball. But that is eventually the halftime whistle right here between Kaya FC-Iloilo and the youth national team. Goalless as we speak. The youngsters have been able to hang with the veterans. Well, what a first half here from Michael Antilo Jr. He's been helping, of course, keep this team afloat. But there's the halftime break, of course. What will Coach Sergio Mascarell and his crew come up with after the break? What will Coach Yu Hoshide and his crew be able to come up with for Kaya FC Iloilo? It's goalless again as we speak, and stay with us, and we'll be back after the break.
The Philippines Football League 2024-2025 is under the supervision of Games and Amusement Board. We thank you all for coming today and encourage you to visit the Philippines Football League Facebook page and the official PFL website, pfl.org.ph, for more details on the Philippines Football League. The passion, the power, the Philippines Football League on the rise. Use the hashtag PFL 2024-2025, hashtag PFL on the rise, hashtag support local football.
And here we are. We have the highlights to keep you company as we are about to wrap up the halftime break. It is your Philippines Football League action again. Here was this long throw that caused havoc inside the box of Kaya. But the youngsters of the national team did not get to pounce. Kuya Sao took that shot, of course, but this was almost or immediately after Shuto Komaki getting this one on target. Some butterfingers from Michael Antilo Jr., but he managed to just push it off target. Kaya had the initiative, of course, but this is not to discredit the national team as they've been able to carve out chances of their own, as we see right here. They've opted to play their speedy wings and fullbacks. Sidel Saot, or Pato as he's called, got this one on target, but former teammate Nathan Bato was there to easily collect his positioning, did the job. Well, here was Eric Esso setting up Jan Meliza. Antilo Jr. did eventually secure Lucas Del Rosario and Shuto Komaki almost or tried to pounce on the rebound. Here's another easy save, and it's been Michael Antilo Jr. who's been putting up quite a performance. Shots like that, of course. There was a bit of drama, Kaya saying it passed the line, but no signal from the referee as Antilo Jr. continued to get hounded, of course, and get called to action a number of times. And there was the chance earlier from Kaishu Yamazaki that rattled the crossbar. Well, here was Chan Meliza. We thought he was going to get it to Del Rosario, but there he was. He created a path for Shuto Komaki. Komaki was trailing, got that shot off, but it was denied. And here's a look at Pocholo Bugas. And he is on loan again from his club in Cambodia. Pocholo Bugas, as of late, a regular member of the Philippine men's national football team. And he was in that roster in the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup. He did not see much action there, and you could say he is in shape. He is fresh here, and who knows if he's going to suit up and give some minutes for KFC, the defending champs. There were the wows, or we saw the wow reactions when Kaya FC announced on its social media page that Pocholo Bugas would be on loan and will solidify their bid for a three-peat in the Philippines Football League. Now here's a look at Jaime Sandejas, one of the newcomers also for the youth national team, and as we saw online, he is on or did transfer from the Loyola Academy. And here's Walid Beru, and he is going to be that main keeper of Kaya with Patrick Dato suffering an injury, but he's on the bench today. Smiles from Mr. Clean here as he is having a word with the young Nathan Bata, who is playing in goal today for Iloilo. And Jago Aspiras, of course, has been able to put in the work in this game. Aspiras jumping ship from Manila Digger again. And Manila Digger, a team that has been doing well in this Philippines Football League so far and continuing to be that dark horse. Let's see how they'll do coming out of the Christmas break. Lucas Del Rosario and his crew are back on the pitch as we are closing in on the second 45 minutes of this match. And people may have seen, of course, right after the halftime whistle or moments after the halftime whistle, we did see referee Mick John Pineda issue a yellow card. After confirming on the ground, it was Coach Sergi Mascorel who was issued a yellow. We've seen him get quite animated at times in this game, complaining about a number of non-calls. Well, that's what I could see or sense from reading his body language and his lips, of course, from the broadcast panel up here at the grandstand. And this is the inaugural Philippines Football League game to take place at this very venue, the UP or University of the Philippines Diliman Football Stadium. And this is actually the usual proving grounds for the UAAP, which is your football competition for universities in Metro Manila. As for the men, women, and boys, the high school level, a number of UAP players have actually made their way to the Philippines Football League. As first, we will run through the changes being made here. We are seeing that we have changes only for the national team who are in gray. So there's Lawrence Binalong who entered the game along with Denmark Orakoy.
Substitution.
And here we
for
go. We'll
Youth
get
National
confirmation
Team.
from our venue announcer.
Player number 8, Sayron Saud, replaced by player number 24, Lawrence Sinalo. Player number 28.
Well, here's a chance now, and it's taken, denied again. Antilo Jr. carrying on from where he stopped.
Denmark Orakoy.
So the changes made. It's Siron Saud and Jan Karaig who stepped off, and it was Denmark Orakoy and Lawrence Pinalong who entered the game. So they'll get 45 minutes maximum under their respective belts. But it's guns blazing here for KIFC coming out of the locker room. Yes, Yamazaki will lob this, going for Lucas Del Rosario. Got a touch to it. Some pushing and shoving. Desperately cleared here. Oh, what a start from Kaya to start the second half. It'll be Bandiogo to continue. He crosses it. Del Rosario, but not secured. There is the defense getting the job done. Bandiogo still with it. He'll cross it again. Heads over to the other wing or the other side. It's Melisa versus Grizola. Was poked away. They delay the attack. Swainston. Not a great touch from Yamazaki. Rota knocked it back. Got it to Casambre. Here's the Japanese connection. Maspiras couldn't connect with a teammate. Jan Melisa. Diana couldn't get it. There was Merino in the way. And this was knocked out, and it will stay with Kaya FC. It's only 2 or 3 minutes in. A long 3 minutes for this national team. Well, here's a chance to kickstart their engines as it's over now with Oraco. He did receive this from a lovely Halike flick. Casambre got it to Lucas Del Rosario. Kaya couldn't get the second ball there. Komaki, could he get it? Not the case because there's Capistrano. And we want to give a shout out to Pampuri, Isabel Villaflor, Aida Torres, and JD Salonga. A big thank you, of course, for catching the Philippines Football League action. For those who are not joining us in the lives or in the stadium, you're catching this on matchday.ph, and a big thank you for joining us, of course. And of course, you can also take advantage of the 35% off promo of matchday.ph, as there's a look at the previous incident, and that is going the way of Jaguas Piras and the national team. And watch the live matches of not just the PFL but also the AFC Champions League Elite and so much more right here. So with this 35% off promo, and it's now 130 pesos a month to catch your football action. Well, here comes Kaya on the further end. Will this translate to a goal? Eso the cross, the header, it goes over. What if there's this man right here, Shuto Komaki. He's been knocking on the door over the course of the game, not just because of this attempt, because he's had a number of them in this game. Finishing, letting him down there. It's a little bit difficult.
600.
But how will Kaya stay composed, especially that they have yet to score a goal and they've controlled most of the match? Rota Playing this one long. De Gracia headed. Del Rosario got to intercept. Open goal for the moment. And that's eventually the goal right here. First blood to Kaya FC. The team in black and yellow pouncing, of course, on that inexperience, utilizing their advantage. Lucas Del Rosario putting in the work. There's also, because of the inexperience, the youth national team had to pay a price, an expensive one. Lucas Del Rosario proving himself once more. No stranger to scoring again in the Philippines Football League level. That is Del Rosario's second goal of the season. And he's done a lot of scoring also with his previous club, Maharlika FC. As Del Rosario was picked up by Kaya, the defending champions. And you see how this crew of Coach Yoshide is rejuvenated after getting that breakthrough goal this afternoon. Well, here comes Nathan Bata. He had to head it, of course. He is outside of his box. Well, with that goal again, Kaya taking advantage of veteran wits. The youth national team committed an error, and the veterans made the youngsters pay. Well, here comes Oracoy, trying to play it through to Halike. Came off of a Kaya FC player. And Capistrano will give us a throw in. Only 6 minutes so far into the second half. But those adjustments made in the locker room for Kaya FC paying off. Here comes Oracoy, trying to test the keeper. But this one was already off. Oracoy off the bench, trying to change things up for them. And there will be this goal kick from Bata, just taking his time, given that they hold the 1-0 advantage. Casambre. Just off of Aspiras. It'll be a throw in. If we take a look actually at the statistics in this tournament so far, as there's a brewing attack on the left. Del Rosario came close to getting it inside the box. We take a look at the leading scorers this season. There's Saikuba Sise of Manila Digger with 7 goals so far. And there's Shuto Komaki of Kaya actually with 7. And as we say that, Shuto Komaki was denied. And behind Shuto Komaki and Saikuba Sise, there's Abu C of Cebu with 6. And we saw that John Lloyd Halike ran out of space and dribbled out. But when we go to the playmaking category, we do have a great number of players who are tied for first. So 5 players are actually tied. And they've racked up 3 assists each in this season so far. As there was chaos on the wing, and it was stopped by Merino. And there was Del Rosario coming up with the tackle. Simone Rota got it to Swinson. They'll try to carry on that traffic right to left, as this one was off target. Going back to the players who've been able to come up with assists. There's with 3 assists so far this season, and they are the leaders. There's Gaito Milan of Cebu, Usman Gaya of Manila Digger, and Parky Young of Kaya, but he did head over to play in Cambodia already. And there's John Lucero of Cebu, who is now playing in the Thai League, as we saw. But check that, it is 4 players tied with 3 assists each this season so far. But in the clean, but for clean sheets, of course, this is for goalkeepers. Yuya Kuroyama of Manila Digger leads the way with 4. Well, we did see in a social media post that he has departed the team. So it is highly inevitable that we will see another leader at the end of this season. Because right behind Yuya Kuroyama, there's Jun Badelik of Cebu with 3 clean sheets. There's also Roberto Llamas of Stallion Laguna, who has 3 so far. Noti Nunez from Haren de Gracia. There's Noti Nunez as that playmaker dropping down again, staying in between the center backs. But how does this format go again for the 2024-2025 Philippines Football League season? The top 4 teams will make it to the final series. But there's still more up for grabs, as we saw Lucas Del Rosario make his man as this ball eventually rolled out. It will go back the way of the youngsters. So other than the top 4 making it to the final series, the number 1 team after the double round robin will clinch a spot in the group stage of the AFC Champions League 2. That is the second highest competition for clubs in the Asian continent. The number 2 team after the double round robin will play in the qualifying playoff of the AFC Champions League 2, so they'll have to play a number of matches to qualify for the group stage of the aforementioned tournament. As this is with Antilo Jr., the press from Esso. Swainston. And they'll continue to dictate the pace of this game. Esso wasn't on the same page. Here was Diano charging off. Well, the keeper gets it this time around, and Antilo Jr. will try to just suck that momentum away from Kaya. But just, or we're going back, of course, to how the final series will work. It is the top 4 teams who will advance or qualify, and they will figure in a knockout round. The number 1 ranked team will square off with the number 4 team. Number 2 or seeds number 2 and 3 will play against each other, and the winners, of course, will face off. And that is how we will crown the champion of the 2024-2025 Philippines Football League season. Kaya FC gunning again for its their third consecutive title. The winner actually of the final series and of this league will earn a ticket to compete in the ASEAN Club Championship, which is known as the Shopee Cup. And by virtue of winning the 2022-2023 PFL, FC-Iloilo are the representatives of the Philippines in the Shopee Cup. Actually, Kaya actually played its inaugural Shopee Cup home game at the Rizal Memorial Stadium earlier this month at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. And when we look at the scheduled games, Kaya will also travel to Indonesia to play in another Shopee Cup game. If there is the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup, of course, for ASEAN national teams. There's the Shopee Cup for Southeast Asian clubs. As there's chaos inside the box, Melisa somehow gets to keep it. Antilo Jr. out of his line. And the back line, anchored by Merino, collects. Well, here is Eric Esso again. He's been putting in the work. Esso to Yamazaki. Getting it to Diano. They've been breaking down this youth national team in the second half. They've been trying to come up with counters like these, but you'd have guys like Eric Esso just stunning their momentum. We are closing in on the 1 hour mark already of this game, or 15 minutes into this second half. And a big thank you for joining us on matchday.ph. This is Claro Manzano, your commentator for this match. This is the inaugural game of the PFL at the UP Diliman Football Stadium. As Aspiras play this one over the top, Capistrano is late to that one. We did see a bit of that hesitation from him, possibly because they are playing against the sun. I'd like to speculate. There was Nathan Bata also to cover things at the back for Kaya FC. And given that we are in the 60th minute, we are going to have a cooling break again right here. But here's some of the highlights to keep us company first while our players and referees will rehydrate. And here is that dangerous chance behind, or courtesy of Melisa. But there was Lucas Del Rosario also knocking on the door. But the boys of Sergi Mascarel did get to collect. Shuto Komaki has had a number of opportunities in this game. Komaki has not connected. Well, here is Lucas Del Rosario to break the ice. He managed to draw first blood for Kaya FC. Oh, it's 1-0 again, and it's because of this strike. The veteran Kaya crew took advantage of the inexperience of this youth national team to score, of course. And it was a hefty price, but it's anyone's ball game right here again because it's just 1-0. That strike again was in the early stages of the second half. As Coach Sergi Mascarel continues, of course, to make adjustments. There's Coach Yu Hoshide. And we've been having cooling breaks every 15 minutes. These are actually predetermined before the game. Our match officials and coaches and the teams actually would pre-decide this right before any game. As we are awaiting a double substitution here for Kaya FC. And there's Martini Ray and Sherwin Basindanan about to check in. And stepping off for Martini Ray and Sherwin Basindanan, we've got Jan Melisa. The other player stepping off is Eric Eso. So these boys, Martini Ray and Sherwin Basindanan, played together, not just in the university ranks for FEU, but as kids growing up in Barotac, Nuevo Iloilo. And Basindanan and Ray actually suited up for Far Eastern University when football resumed after the pandemic. And this was the very stadium, of course, where they played their elimination round matches. They are familiar with this turf at UP. And as play resumed, there was that foul immediately on Kaishu Yamazaki. They do not want to get any knocks again because Kaya have that upcoming Shopee Cup match, as we've said. Bandiogu. He's covered though by Halike. Rota. Rota with the armband for this game, as we've said. Konate Bandiogu. Getting it from Lucas Del Rosario. Still with Bandiogu. Martini Ray, first touches, shoots. Doesn't score here because it's over. Well, what a way, of course, to make his mark in the game. Almost immediately. There was the turn, the control from Martini. What a way for him, of course, to grow into the game or just get started. It will resume. A rare spell of possession, or a rare chance to build up from the back when we refer to this national team. But of course, their efforts taking part in the PFL will pay off with upcoming competitions or international competitions for the different age groups, especially the Southeast Asian Games, which is a U22 or under 22 competition. That will be later this year in December. Play will resume with this throw in. Konate Bandiogo, of course, will get this back going. Yamazaki. There's Komaki to Del Rosario. We've seen plenty of that in that game. Yamazaki to Komaki. There's also Lucas Del Rosario getting involved. And as we've said, there's Kaishu Yamazaki once more. The Japanese midfielder. Sharon Basindan and the cross. Well, there's Mourinho down as the ball eventually rolls out of play. And Joshua Mourinho is shaken up. And our initial speculation is just with the way he's being stretched out his cramps, but we did not see that when he initially fell. There you go. It may be the knee. Well, let's take a look at that play earlier. It seems it was a hit from behind, and the side of his knee was what got hurt. So not cramps, of course, because of the initial fall of Mourinho did not look like that when we saw it real time. But we got the instant, or we had to take a look at our replay, of course. That's tough to see because referee Mick John Pineda signaled for the stretcher. And it's tough to see, of course. Mourinho will have to be stretchered off. Hopefully it's not as bad as we think it is. Mourinho has been one of those main men on defense. And with the youth national team, of course, these boys are the future of the Philippines, of course, when it comes to competing internationally. But as we've said also with Kaya, you'll also have to be careful because they will be heading to Indonesia to play Borneo on January 2023. That will be their second to the last game in the Shopee Cup. Or to be precise, that will be Kaya's second to the last game in the group stage of the Shopee Cup. Kaya with very slim chances to advance in the ASEAN competition that we just mentioned, as they've been struggling. Sherwin Basindanan called the keeper to action. Naughty Nunez knocked it back to Di Gracia. But if we take a look at Kaya's Shopee Cup campaign, of course, they're figuring in that difficult group with Kong An Hanoi, Buriram United, Kuala Lumpur City, Borneo, and Lion City Sailors. But just talking about, or while we run through that campaign, on February 6, Kaya is set to host Lion City Sailors of Singapore right here in the Philippines. As it's with Basindanan now, and this one hit the side of the net, so there is no goal here. Kaya FC is continuing to keep things at full throttle. It's still 1-0. It's anyone's ball game. They need those insurance goals. If you're the youth national team, you want to create opportunities, of course, on the attack, because as of late they have been sitting back. Well, with this, they are gaining experience. Kaya sure giving them a lesson. Well, with that, of course, it's an opportunity for these players to grow. And with these young players, of course, getting constant opportunities to play almost week in and week out. And they are playing against full-fledged professionals. And it's expected that they will be relatively sharp when the opportunity comes to play for the Philippines. Well, let's recall also that the national team is down to 10 players because Joshua Merino had to be stretchered off. And it is expected that Peter Mirasol will enter the game for Merino. Merino, from what we saw, was hit on the side of the knee while challenging for the ball. We hope that he is okay because he is one of the mainstays of this team. And if you're one of the mainstays of this youth national team, you're a mainstay of the future of Philippine football. But Diogo all over the place trying to win it for them. But there is a foul. It's Denmark Oraco who is down this time around. As we have about 20 minutes or so remaining in this game, just to give you a time check, of course. And you're catching this one on matchday.ph. It is the Philippine youth national team in gray, black, and white. They are playing from left to right, and set is long. Simone Rota didn't appear to have an unideal touch there. They eventually got it out of the danger area. There's Kaya FC again, the defending champions, in their black and yellow uniforms. They're playing from right to left. They currently lead 1-0 thanks to the goal of Lucas Del Rosario. And Kaya resting key players again, as we've said. The usual names such as Walid Beru, Akito Saito are on the bench right now. There's also Audi Menzi. Some key players being rested because they have that upcoming game. They'll be traveling to Indonesia, as we've said, to play their group stage match versus Borneo. And should Kaya rack up the win or the draw, they will stretch their unbeaten run in local play to 40 games. So heading into this one, Kaya FC, they are undefeated in 39 games. So that dates back to the 2022-2023 Philippines Football League season. Well, here's John Lloyd Halike. He is in a tough corner right now. So after Kaya lost to Dynamic Herb Cebu FC last February 19, 2023 in the PFL, they went on to win 9 straight and clinch the title. That was their first title, of course. And then they went on to go undefeated in the Copa Paulino Alcantara. Undefeated in 10 games. At that point in time, the unbeaten streak of Kaya was in 19 games when it came to local play, and they pushed it further to 33 games in the 2024 Philippines Football League season. Here's this chance, Martini Ray, but there's Diego Aspiras decked. It hit the back of the net, but no count. There was a foul there, according to referee Mick John Pineda. And with that, of course, the stoppage of play, we have our substitutions. In comes Peter Mirasol, as expected, and unfortunately, it is Joshua Merino who is stepping off. So we hope that Merino will be able to recover, of course, from what appears to be a knock. And there's also Audi Menzi who checked in alongside Pocholo Bugas. Cholo Bugas making his debut for Kaya FC. Well, Bugas has plenty of experience again, playing for a number of teams or clubs in the previous seasons of the PFL. Diego Espiras earlier was fouled. That is why it is going the way again of the team in gray.
Substitution for Kaya FC-Iloilo. Player number 14,
Rota
replaced
trying to
by
secure the back.
player number 39, Pocholo Pugas.
So one of the players who stepped off is Shuto
Player
Komaki.
number 15, Marco Alessandro Masante, replaced by player number 44, Odi Menzi.
So the players who stepped off are Shuto Komaki and Marco Casambre. And Odi Menzi, the captain of Kaya, is in and is wearing the armband. We are expecting another change for Kaya, with Marvin Angeles being lined up at the fourth official's table. We've seen Odi Menzi play at the fullback position also, but it will be central defense for him this afternoon. Swainson couldn't get it. John Lloyd Halike was there. Mirasol getting this one. Naughty Nunez. Here's Capistrano with some space. But Kaya got to cover things. De Gracia opting to play this one long. Morata signaling for Nathan Bata to collect. Then Kaya gunning for only its second clean sheet of the season. Yes, they are unbeaten this season and in almost the past 2 years, but in the early stages, or in the first half roughly of the 2024-2025 PFL, their defense has been a little bit shaky. As here is the expected change. Kaishu Yamazaki will call it an afternoon as Marvin Angeles steps in.
Kaishu Yamazaki replaced by player number 8, Marvin Jennifer Angeles.
With that, of course, there's another stoppage as players and referees will rehydrate, as this is going to be the last cooling break of this game, as it's on to the final stretch of this afternoon. Coach Sergio and Lawrence Benalong having a chat as they look to finish strong. It's 12 minutes and change remaining in regulation. And as it stands, Kaya FC-Iloilo leads 1-0. And it's courtesy of Lucas Del Rosario. It's still all to play for, but at the rate things are going, of course, it's going to be difficult, or it's been difficult for the youngsters when we refer to the national team. They've been mainly sitting back, having to defend, or in opportunities where they get to create or build up from the back. They wouldn't be able to hold on to possession because you'd have opportunities or pressure from Kaya. Just like this, they get to weather the storm. The youth national team, just going back to that thought, of course, have not been able to clearly get through the midfield and come up with chances in the final or attacking third. Then again, they are squaring off with Kaya FC, the defending champions, the regular representatives of the Philippines in the international level when it comes to club competitions. Martini Rota. They knocked this one. And Capistrano is on the same page as his goalkeeper. That's the back line. Well, what a first half also from Michael Antilo Jr. because he managed to keep things goalless along with his back line. But Antilo Jr. had to put in a shift. As they knock it now to the left. But Grizola overhit this ball. It's outside. And you could see the frustration mounting here for this national team, but they are continuing to carry on. This is not only an opportunity for them to pick up experience when it comes to X's and O's, but an opportunity to build character. And with some of their newcomers, they are getting that chance to gel together and build that chemistry once more. Halike, Aspiras, the turn. Got it to Nunez. Blocked by Simon de Rota, who just towers above him. Angeles to Conate Bandiogu. Cholo Bugas could not get that one. And with Cholo Bugas, of course, joining FC-Iloilo for this second half of the season, we could potentially have that battle between the Bugas brothers. The Cholo's Kuya Paulo plays for Davao Aguilas. As they cut this one back, right in front of the goal, Grizola collects. Clears it, but it only goes to Diano. And that's why they'll launch another wave. Diano from distance, but it was blocked by the defense. And Swainston versus Pato South. Rota will send it to the side. Basindanan. Rota to Orimenzi. They're slowing things down, of course. And evidently, it's because the score favors them. They'll try to break down the defense. But this one here now, is it past the keeper and good? That is the case eventually. But we'll try to finalize or confirm if it is for Marvin Angeles, but it is highly likely the case. And that could just virtually seal the deal for Kaya in this game. They gave it over to Giano, was on the right. Angeles took it. It's already past the goal line at that point, from what I am able to see. Well, here's another angle, of course. Angeles taking the shot, and it was past the goal line already. Right there. Well, with confirmation, of course, from our venue announcer, it will go to Angeles. But after looking at that second angle, there's a possibility of an own goal. But our venue announcer is in touch with our crew on the ground. So it's a goal for the veteran, Marwin Angeles.
Player number 17, John Lloyd Haike, replaced by player number 38, Ryan Lim.
Ryan Lim will enter, and stepping off is John Lloyd Halike. Lim, one of the additions to the squad over the transfer window. And De Gracia got play underway. Aspiras. Swainston. Well, loses it right here as they launch this, but it is out and about for the youngsters. You gotta credit the national team, of course. As we saw Binalong pictured, they're continuing to fight on in this game. Nori Menzi trying to get it to Martini Ray. Naughty Nunez gets this, lobs it. The header. But this one hits the roof of the net and is off target. Quite a spell here from the youngsters, of course. And interesting because you see the youth national team who are much smaller when it comes to height come up with a header. Well, but it will be Bata to resume. Now that Kaya have that cushion, it's now about sealing the deal, and we refer to them picking up a clean sheet. A clean sheet, of course, meaning that their opponents are unable to score. Well, here's Cholo Bugas, just injecting his pace into this game, cutting it back, but it's picked up by Antilo Jr. And it's 4 minutes remaining until additional time in this match. And here was Bugas forcing that stop. And traffic will continue the way here of the defending champs. Well, with this impending result, Kaya will improve to 6 wins, 1 draw, and 0 losses. And that is good for 19 points. And they continue to top the table. And after we conclude this game, as Pasindaran sent in that low cross, and after we conclude this game, all teams will be level when it comes to games played, and it's at 7 each. The youth national team will remain at 7 points, 2 points clear of Maharlika FC. Well, 5 at the moment. They will pick up their 4th loss of the season. But earlier in this campaign, they've picked up two wins and a draw. And that's good for 7 points. But the goal difference of the youngsters here will go to -9. Kaya's goal difference will go up to +19. So Kaya not just top the table when it comes to points, but they also have the best goal difference in the league so far. Well, there was a foul here. Let's try to clarify, of course, which way will it go. As we saw referee Mick John Pineda point at both directions. And just as we thought, it's a foul against Kaya. About 2 minutes remaining now until additional time. It's Lucas Del Rosario again who scored the first goal. Marvin Angeles with the second one. And it was calmly secured by Bata. Swainston looking for options. Diano. Nathan Bata. And given that this is Kaya's first time to play at this stadium, we saw Swainston just have a walk around the pitch to just get a feel for things. As here comes Cholo Bugas taking it. But it's just wide here. A superb quality here from Cholo Bugas. And there's the connection from Ori Menzi. Fantastic control, getting past the defense. But it's just wide right here. Patos out. Nunez to De Gracia. And for those, of course, who just tuned in, Joshua Merino of the youth national team had to get subbed off after taking a knock or hit to the knee. We hope he is okay and that he will be able to suit up, of course, in the succeeding matches. Bandiago. And it ends up as a goal kick from Bata. There was a much smaller Capistrano, making it difficult, of course, for Kaya's left back this afternoon. And we did say that, yes, we'd see Konate Bandiago often playing the midfield for Kaya. He is playing at left back today. But when you look at the the starting list, Konate Bandiogo is actually listed as a defender, as we have 6 minutes of additional time, as confirmed by fourth official Raymar de los Santos. Here's Bandiogo in the middle, takes it here, wide also for him. We say it's also wide for him because Kaya's previous attempt, courtesy of Pocholo Bugas, was wide. And here's that look, of course, just so much space. Bandiogo got to bring it up. It's 4-2 right here. Takes it, it's wide. Would have been a highlight, of course, if he managed to score. Bandiogo also had options left and right. But at the end of the day, he'll be okay with that if you are Kaya, because Kaya leads 2-0 and is set to add 3 points to the bag once more before they fly off to Indonesia to carry on its campaign in the Shopee Cup. That is the ASEAN Club Championship. As we mentioned, Aspiras, the national team, will look to finish strong at the least. Kaya looking sharp after, you could say, making sacrifices over the course of the holiday season, where they opted to train continuously because they did play earlier this month again at home for the Shopee Cup. But here comes Sherwin Basindanan, now playing on the left. He's inserted to the right earlier. Basindanan also came in as a sub. And the time continues to tick. It will be a corner kick here that Bugas will send in. Now, yes, the youth national team ended the 2024 calendar year with a win over Davao. There's a bit of that reset with this long holiday break. Here's the service, the stop again from the keeper. Chaos inside the box, and Antilo Jr. eventually collects. The score would have been much, much higher without Michael Antilo Jr. playing in goal here for the national team. It's Martini Ray, but eventually it was taken by Bandiogo and Bata, sending it to the midfield, and it bounces out. Capistrano to De Gracia. De Gracia playing in his usual fullback role now. But over the course of a game, it's expected from players to switch positions with one another. This one's out again to no avail. And unfortunately for the team in grey, they are not able to build on their successful attacks which took place in the first half, because it was goalless again at the break earlier. Kaya were looking like the slightly more frustrated team, with the national team able to come up with scoring chances here and there, but they were not able to put those opportunities away. It would have been a different story, of course, if they managed to score or take advantage of those chances in the first half. But it's all a part of developing again. Now, you could say similar also for Kaya FC-Iloilo, because Shuto Komaki was also looking promising in the first 45 minutes. Well, that was the case actually for the Japanese midfielder over the course of the game. But all of those efforts of Kaya managed to bear fruit, because Lucas Del Rosario scored to make it 1-0 earlier, and then Marvin Angeles, who came off the bench, made it 2-0. The crucial insurance goal. That is why Kaya is in cruise control. As we say cruise control, here's Diano. Came close to connecting there. But the national team cleans up again. So we are about to hit the 5th minute already. And we will be expecting the full-time whistle from referee Mick John Pineda soon. But the youngsters will try to carve something out. But you have to give credit to them, of course. In all of their tough games this PFL, they have been able to show us that never say die attitude, you could say. That's despite of the scoreline. Saot Nunez. Naughty hit it to the left, over with Lim. There's also Aspiras in the box now as they're trying to come up with a chance. Adjusted by Lucas Del Rosario. Bugas over to the left. Angeles controls it. He'll wait for teammates. Here's Bugas now. Getting past one. Taking it. Forcing another save. Oh, we gotta commend Michael Antilo Jr. again with the way he's been able to put up a performance in goal. Frustration from Cholo Bugas as we saw, because he's been able to come up with a number of chances. But we eventually got to hear the full-time whistle from referee John Pineda. It's eventually 2-0 right here for Kaya FC-Iloilo. And get this, the defending champs were gunning for their third straight title. Actually pushed their unbeaten run in local play to 40 games. The last time Kaya FC Iloilo lost in local play was in February 19, 2023. After they closed out the 2022-2023 season with 9 straight. After going unbeaten in 9 straight games, we say unbeaten because it's either a win or a draw. Kaya went unbeaten after 10 games in the Copa Paulino Alcantara. Went unbeaten in 14 games in the 2024 PFL season. Unbeaten in 7 games now this 2024-2025 edition of the league. It's a big 4-0. 40 games unbeaten for Kaya. They improved to 6 wins and 1 draw this season and top the table with 19 points. And it's Lucas Del Rosario who is our man of the match to open the 2025 football calendar. What a performance from Del Rosario, of course, who made waves by transferring or heading over to the defending champions. But we have confirmation of our score. It's Kaya FC Iloilo 2, the Philippine Youth National Team 0. And to add up also, or to come up with another goal, there was Marwin Angeles to eventually seal the deal right here to make it 2-0, and that insurance goal again. Kaya bagging a win, a confidence booster as they will head out again for another game in the Shopee Cup. That's the ASEAN Club Championship. But there you go. I'd just like to give you a big thank you, of course, in behalf of the entire broadcast crew. And thank you so much for joining us right here on Matchday.ph. This was Claudio Manzano, your commentator for this match. And it ends again, Kaya FC Iloilo 2, the Philippine Youth National Team 0.